morning, one and all. I am Vishal Munka.
And I am Nagpur, your host for the day.
We welcome you all to this occasion amidst such an erudite presence. We welcome the esteemed dignitaries, the press, the faculty bodies, and the students.
In the first of its kind event at IIT Nagpur, the Media Conclave is set to build bridges between the academia and the media. An event which aims to set expectations and understand each other's needs. This event seeks to promote greater understanding among the media, the business schools, and the intelligence.
Today we are hosting discussion rounds on issue of media and corporate education at large.
I would like to now request Director Mr. Goswami to deliver the welcome address.
Distinguished speaker of the day and panelists, invited guests, fellow faculty colleagues, and dear students. The objective of this event was to take a snapshot picture of what's happening in India in the global context. If you go back a few years, the first half of the first decade of 21st century, India suddenly started gaining excessive attention of the global media. Local media was euphoric. We are growing at close to double digits. And suddenly highlights like India rising, India shining, those campaigns are there. GDP was growing close to China's rate. And we are hoping for better things to come. Lots of projections were made. We saw about Goldman Sachs BRICS report. By when India, China will overtake US or become counted as a leading global economy. Subsequently, 2008 happened, and things have now changed to the other side. When many policymakers to industrialists they come and talk in India, they say that the gloom in India is probably worse than the gloom overseas. The world doesn't see India to be as bad as the perception in India is to be. The economy is all about perception sentiments. Not denying that our perception sentiments have taken a beating over the last 4 or 5 years. The GDP growth rate has fallen to sub-nominal, like below 5% rate. So in this context, the objective of this was to get the people who really matter, some of these media persons who highlight how things are happening and build the sentiments. The sentiments are very important. Second is, what if not do, probably we think that the message will go to policymakers and industrialists, so we'll have one of them to with us. And our fourth pillar is the educational, like academic institutes like ours. So it is the policymakers, media, industrialists, and academic institutes. Are we working together to get the things right so that India regains its rightful position that we deserve? Because I just put a small statistics here. The number of youths in India, sub 15 age, is more than that of entire China and developed world put together. India has 43 crore youngsters below 15 years of age. China has 23 crore. Entire developed world has around 20 crore. So in the second half of the panel, growth versus development, and growth with job creation. Because until the growth happens, development probably becomes difficult, and growth with job creation, probably when it happens, it creates a better equal platform. In which it belongs to say that if you really look, last 30 years of China, what has happened, we are going for 3-4 years probably at the double digit rate, whereas China has been trying to consistently grow there close to 3 decades and still now grows close to 7-8%. So that the policymakers, so the structure of the government is different, but we can blame everything on the structure. They are starting from business schools, business media, investor sentiments, in spite of being whatever China is. All these things have done much better. So today we felt that let's have a discussion with media people and understand what's going and how to get things right from some of the insightful observations they may have. As an academician, let me also say one part of the debate which we will cover in the first half, the sessions. Indian academic institutes have always been, criticized that we are not producing the sort of graduates that 21st century economy needs. We have always seen headlines in newspapers that we produce lots of graduates the employability criteria, their innovation criteria, their quality, lots of questions have been raised on that. We take those criticism positively. We believe visually there are more scope of improvement. Today in the panel we have members who actually initiated the peaceful surveys in India back in 2000. Now it is an industry. We are in the panel also because we will come back to another topic. One sort of an investigative journalist who opened up the 2G investigation scam. The scams also had a role because if you look at it, many of the scams the way it is reported, it might have also caused a downward spiraling of the sentiment. The scams might have happened, but are you taking the right lessons and trying to protect, improve the investor sentiment, or you are not doing anything, you are not taking the right steps in forward, you are only reporting about the scams, but that is actually not improving the economy as such. So all these things should be part of today's agenda. I thank you very much for coming here, particularly the invited guests. We believe that we will take some meaningful and insightful observations from the 3 sessions that we have, 2 before lunch and 1 after lunch. Thanks to the student bodies for organizing the whole thing. Thank you very much.
First, panelist I will introduce is Mr. Premchand Paleti. Let me give a brief introduction about him. He is Chief Executive of C4. He has a vast experience in conducting election surveys, market research, and performance appraisal studies related to public utilities at national level and has pioneered school ranking in India. His articles have been published in the Wall Street Journal, the Mint, the Outlook, Business Today, Hindustan Times, and the Economic Times. He is also been the member of the National Board of Accreditation, where he contributed in revamping the accreditation methodology of higher education institutes in India. We welcome you, sir.
Now I would like to say. Hello. I would now like to introduce Mr. A. Thodatri Raman, an embodiment of knowledge and experience in the fields of media. We have with us Mr. A. Thodatri Raman today, a business journalist with over 33 years of experience with leading media houses, Financial Express, Business World, The Hindu, and The Economic Times, to name a few. He is also a pioneer in the domain of media rating and ranking of business schools in India. With 9 books to his credit on management and technology, one of his books on knowledge management was chosen for Best Management Book of the Year in 2003. A versatile personality, we are indeed privileged to have you with us, sir. I welcome you.
Well, who hasn't heard of the 2G scam? We have with us our next panelist who's been responsible for the extensive coverage of this 2G scams, one of the biggest scams in India. He received several awards in journalism for his 3-year-long reporting on 2G scam. He was the recipient of the prestigious Ramnath Goenka Journalist of the Year Award and CNN IBM's India of the Year Award in a special category for the Spectrum Scam Exposed. We welcome you, sir. We are indeed privileged to have you. Mr. J. Next dignitary on that is Mr. Ganesh Kanake, is the Vice President, Reliance Jio Infocom Limited, who also happens to be our moderator for the panel discussion. He calls himself a reporter at heart, having worked in all possible positions for trainee reporter, from trainee reporter to senior editor in print for 17 years. Mr. Ganesh brings to us his vast experience in the field of media. He has done some landmark investigative, political and human interest stories in the last 2 decades, and has excellent contacts on almost all spheres of it. We are privileged to have you, sir. Welcome you.
Mr. Sandeepan Dey was supposed to be one of the panelists today, but he could not make it due to medical reasons. However, we would not like to miss out on the opportunity to introduce him today. Mr. Sandeepan is the author of 3 books, The IITians, The Story of an Extraordinary Indian Institution, and How Its Alumni Are Transforming the World, was published in 2004. Second book was The Fallen Angel, The Making and Unmaking of Rajat Gupta and his novel. The third is The Last War, a reimagining of Mahabharata in the Mumbai Underworld Center.
We now have the occasion of lighting of the lamp. And for the lighting of the lamp, I invite eminent panelists, Professor R. Goswami, a student representative, and Professor R. Gadge.
He is a columnist and journalist educator at Independent Columnist, a special correspondent at the Nagpur Group, Indian Express, and a senior correspondent at India Today. He is also a freelance columnist for newspapers and magazines, editorial writer for New Indian Express, and he also teaches in journalism schools in Delhi and Noida. We are indeed privileged to have you with us, sir.
So now that the stage is set, we are all set to begin with the event. Before we begin with the event, I will quickly tell you about the program details and our plan of action for the day. Now that the lighting of the lamp is done, we begin with the session by Mr. Premchand Paleti on how should we schools reorient themselves to the new normal economy. Then we break for coffee at around 11:35 a.m. We resume session at 12 noon with a session by Mr. Raman on fostering synergy between schools and business media. Then we break for lunch at around 12:45 a.m. We resume session 2, second session at 2 p.m. with the much awaited panel discussion. And at around 3:30 we have the vote of thanks, and then at 4 around we disperse for writing. So that's the plan of action. So without much ado, I would quickly like to call upon Mr. Premchand Paleti to deliver his session. A round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Professor Goswami, Mr. Girish, Sotatri Raman, my old friend, and we actually together started the school ranking. Mr. Datta, Mr. Gopal Krishnan, Mr. Ganesh, and faculty members, students. Thanks for inviting me. Friends, about 14 years back, we started C4, and one of the main activities that we do is rating and ranking of educational institutions, from play schools to engineering colleges to medical colleges to business schools. In the process, I traveled to many parts of the country and visited maybe over 1,000 education institutes. One disturbing aspect of our growth narrative in higher education sector is that we are very bad in knowledge creation. Publications of refereed journals. In a way, we are not, the higher education institutes, especially these schools, have not played a leadership role in new knowledge creation. Take the case of IIMS. IIM Ahmedabad was in the initial years benefited by the industry of Gujarat, the textile or pharma companies of Gujarat. It is reflected in the case studies of that era. IIM Bangalore grew when IT industry of Bangalore grew. IIM Calcutta came down when industry of West Bengal went down. So in a way, these schools have been led by the industry. They have been dictated by industries instead of leading them. So they are termed as glorified placement agencies. When the economy was booming from 2001 to 2008, these schools were also growing. Now with the recession, with the downturn, they are also in downslide. Now if you see how Stanford, compare a university like Stanford. Some of you might be knowing how this institute came into existence. It's an interesting case. This old couple whose only child dies go to Harvard to donate some money so that a building can be named after their dead son. But the dean treats them with disrespect. And this angry couple, they are determined that they will set up their own institute. So they come to Stanford. So they are Mr. and Mrs. Stanford, they come to California area and build this huge campus. But the problem was there were no jobs. Students have to go to East Coast for jobs. Then the faculty council took a major decision that we will create job creators. This council led by Frederick Terman chose two of his students who had got good job. There were PhD students that got job in General Electric. Not to go for a job, but start your own enterprise. These students were Hewlett and Packard. HP industry was born as a student project. After that, 3,000 companies started as student projects. Yahoo, Google, Sun Microsystems. Many of these companies will change the course of human history. So Silicon Valley can be said to be a gift of Stanford University. None of our IITs and IIMs have created a Silicon Valley in their vicinity. They have been led by the industry. I think this is one of the major drawbacks of our education system. So I am actually critic of these schools. I've been writing so much about the revenue model also. The revenue model, many directors don't like me because of that. They don't call me also. The revenue model is primarily fees. Some institutes, yes, earning from MDPs, earning from consultancies and research. But maybe 95% or maybe 99% of the schools in our country, their earning is primarily from fees, student fees. Can you think of a different revenue model? Again, coming back to this Stanford University, they had entrepreneurial culture in every department. They would give money to some student projects, seed capital. Like Google, few $1,000, the university pumped in. And when the first IPO came, the university earned $336 million. So investing in startups, this is a different revenue model. And Stanford University has earned, they don't call it profit, they call it endowments, whatever they come from the startups. And Stanford University to date has earned $70 billion. And it's fifth in the list. Four more universities have earned much more than this figure. So in our country, this revenue model is not there in the mindset. IIT Nagpur can take an initiative, maybe we can have a fund, maybe 30-40 lakhs every year, to invest in students, their own student projects. But many school directors, I speak, have no confidence in their own students. Can they invest in their project? So this is a challenge. And there are many opportunities in the present scenario. Inequality is growing so much in our society. Many of the districts are under Naxal rule. And on the other hand, it has come in the realm of possibilities that every human being can have good quality of life without exploiting fellow human beings. This is because we are passing boring repetitive work to machines. If this process has to continue, this logically this should continue, and as the education institute should play a role in it. But there are several constraints, like constraints of land, water. For example, if everyone has to have a good quality of life, we will be consuming a lot of energy, and if present sources of energy are safe, then this planet is not enough. In short, this planet is not enough to sustain a just society unless and until we create and apply new knowledge at a very fast rate. So creation and application of knowledge is very important, and here education institutes have a major role to play. Unfortunately, these school products and in the system as a whole, capitalism has failed in this creation of knowledge. On if you see the overall economy of the world, if we see the recession continuing, it's primarily because we have not, capitalism as a system has not created new knowledge. The command economy of the erstwhile communist countries also failed to meet the aspirations of the growing population. Similarly, capitalism is also failing. Capitalism has invested more in fueling consumption than creation of knowledge. Securitization, some of the finance students would know, was made as a great